Nu dan eerst, Samuel Bjørk. Is hij al online? Hij is online. Good evening, Frode.
Good evening, world.
Yeah, good to have you with us. You were supposed to be in Amsterdam now.
I was.
Because of the whole situation, that doesn't work. But it's great to have you online here with us this evening.
Thank you.
You're in Trondheim, right?
Yes, in Trondheim, winter Norway.
How cold is it up there? Is it dark yet?
You want to see? Here we go.
Yeah, and during the day as well already, or is that?
No. Maybe 4 o'clock we get the dark.
Okay, well that's early enough.
Yeah. Thank you.
We know you from a couple of books that have been published in Holland already. Ik reis alleen, De doodsvogel en De jongen in de sneeuw, that have been published over the last 7-8 years. But maybe we can go a bit back further before that about how you came to writing and what you did before, because you had several careers before you started writing thrillers, right?
I did. Yes, I did a lot of stuff. I used to be a rock star. I released 6 albums here in Norway. I used to publish literary novels. I published 2 novels. But I started in the theater when I was young, so that's where I wanted to work. And I wrote my first play when I was about 20, and got it put up on the stage. And I wanted to be an actor, because I thought it looked very nice to be up there on the stage with people clapping at you. But I understood that if you're an actor, you have to kind of listen to what the director says, And so I found out that was nothing for me. And so I've done a lot of things. I've translated Shakespeare. And then one day, 10 years ago, I just saw this ad in the paper, and it said, "Can you write Norway's best crime novel?" And I thought, how hard can it be? So that's how I became a crime writer.
You sort of did, because your first book became quite an international sensation, not just in Holland, but in Germany and all over the world. It was translated in more than 20 countries, I think.
Yes, I think it's over 40 countries now, Tom.
Oh wow! There you go. Yes, and even in English, so it was a big success in the UK as well.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was #1 in Russia, #1 in Germany, #3 in England, #1 in Greece. So it was. I used to be an independent artist who spent all my money on my projects. I had just put all my money in a new album when I saw this competition, and the price was 50,000 euros, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of money. But suddenly, just like I spent some time off my life. I put my life on hold for 1 year to write the book because I found it very interesting. So and after that, I was picked up by an agent in Sweden. She had just started an agency, and she took the book in Frankfurt, and it just rolled in. It was really exciting, in my email, you've sold this country, this country, this country. So it was a shock, actually. I'm kind of still in shock.
Well, good for us that it worked that way, and I think beforehand you were already a storyteller, and it was just maybe a different form for you, right? In writing these books.
Yes, it was. I had, maybe 20 years of experience of telling stories and writing, and I decided if I wanted to do this project, I wanted a secret name so I could hide behind this, so I could do. Because in Norway, a small country, people knew my name, knew who I was. So if I put my name on it, they would have thoughts about it before they read it. So I just wanted to have a new voice and a new name. So it was actually a secret up there for a long, long time who it was. And that was very fun.
Well, yeah. And tomorrow is the publication date of your new book, Sneeuwwit, Snow White, as we call it in Dutch. Not everybody has had a chance to read it, hardly anybody. What can you tell us about the new book?
It's actually a kind of a special book this time, because it's, I don't know if everybody knows, but I'm writing a series of books. But this book it's a prequel. It means it goes back in time. telling the story about Mia Krüger's first case and how she became a police officer. And that's been really interesting to do, actually.
And you mean the two main characters from the other books, Mia Krüger and Holger Munk? They are also the main characters in this book, but 20 years younger.
Yeah, they're lead characters. But because in the first book, I'm traveling alone, they refer back to this happened 10 years ago, this happened 10 years ago. So actually it was my English publisher who said, yeah, well, you should write a prequel so we can get to know what happened that time 10 years ago. So I started doing that, and I had a crime plot laying in my drawer somewhere. I could use this crime plot on that story. So I've spent the last 2 years back in the year 2001, which was an interesting experience.
Was it? Yeah, because it has both sides to it. Of course, it's a different setting, different time, where all kinds of devices that the police nowadays can use they didn't have at the time. Yeah. But also for you, for the characters, they were in a different period of their lives as well. How did you experience writing about them in a different age?
It was actually much harder than I thought, because I mean, in the books I've written, Mia Krüger, the lead character, she's alcoholic and she's depressed, and because of all the things that has happened to her. But now I had to find her when she was young and fresh and a different person, actually. So I spent a lot of time. I wrote actually 7 different first chapters for her, just to kind of find her, to figure out who she was. And then one day it just clicked. Here she is. So it was hard. It was interesting. I mean, as a writer, I like to do things that are not easy because it's much more interesting. So I scratched my head. I have no hair left, but I think I kind of made it.
And I believe you mean interesting both for you as an author, but also for the reader, to keep it interesting and exciting.
Of course.
And without spoiling much, but what can you tell us a little bit about what this story is about? About the plot? What is the case they're working on?
My daughter Mia actually is coming in.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, go this mamma. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
That's yeah. Because, there we go. We were talking about Mia, and there she is. You named your daughter after the character from your books.
Yes, I did. Actually.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Without spoiling much, can you tell us a bit about the case Mia and Holger are working on in the new book?
2 victims are found without clothes, with a fox in between them. And it refers back to a case in Sweden 8 years before, where 2 similar victims were found with an animal in between them also. And that case was never solved. And now the Norwegian group picks up this old case and the new case. Mia Krüger is, she just started the police academy, and she wants to be a member of the SWAT team, in American movies, where the people who go in and shoot and storm the houses. Because there's never in Norway been a female member, still not a female member of the Norwegian SWAT team. So she's like, I'm going to be the first member. But then she takes a test, and it shows that she has special abilities of visualizing and looking at photographs from crime scenes. So she gets picked up to the unit, and they start investigating this case. And it's the murderer has a very visual way of exploring his identity, to say. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah.
And of course, as with your other books, the book can be read as a standalone story.
Yes.
But I think there's also new developments we learn more about their personal life, and for instance, Mia's relationship with her sister.
Yeah, I mean, a big thing in the first book. I mean, she is a twin, and she has lost her sister because her sister was a heroin addict. And I felt I was always kind of sad that her sister was dead. So I had this scene in my head, which actually is the last scene in the book, which actually made me write this book, because her sister was alive, and I kind of wanted to see her alive and get to know her a little bit. So in this book, her sister is still alive.
Okay, I have a couple of questions from the audience already, Frode. Monica, she asks, who were your inspirations, if anybody, for both Holger and Mia?
Yeah,
are they based on real life persons?
No, they're not based on real life persons. I mean, they're just parts of me in my head. Mia is kind of a crazy, artistic, dark, I don't want to listen to anybody type, and Holger Munk is the family guy, the more calm family guy. So I think both of them kind of reflect myself.
Both you in your younger years and now, perhaps.
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, Holger Munk, that's a famous name. There's also a reference to the painter in the book.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name? Is it a reference to the painter?
Yeah, that's why I chose the name. Edvard Munch, Norway's most famous painter. I mean, everybody has seen that, the Scream, the picture with the Scream, yeah. And I felt that painting, I mean, it's always been with us Norwegians, because he was an outsider, Edvard Munch. Nobody liked him, and then he became very famous in his later years, and he had real trouble in his mind, and he tried to express this howl and screams in his head. And I felt that would be a good reference of a feeling in the book. So I chose that name. And in the first book, it's also referenced a little bit to him. And yeah,
of course, yeah, that's true. Another question from Miriam. Is there anything you didn't already do and want to try sometime? I'm not sure if that refers to writing or anything else in life, but there you go. That's the question.
Yeah, thank you. Good question. I don't know. I'm still. I think I've done about everything that a person could do. It feels like if I wanted to retire now, I could do it with a smile. I always wanted to. In my earlier years, I wanted to make a movie. But when I met movie people, I understood that there's a lot of work and a lot of people involved. So every process is very slow. So it's much easier now when I get an idea, I could just go right into the writing. I don't have to ask anybody. So I don't think so. I've been traveling the world. I've been doing, most of the things I want to do. So I have a music studio upstairs, which I still make music only for myself. But I had a couple of years off now because of the COVID and everything. So I've decided what I'm going to do the next 10 years is to write this series and do it as good as I can. And I'm going to be happy with that, I think.
So maybe there's something you want to do next in the series of the book. So you're already planning ahead, or the next stories.
Yeah. I've spent while writing this book, I've spent the time writing what I call test books. I try different versions of what's going to happen next to see if it kind of relates when I write it. And I want to do the series interesting. I don't want the book to be the same book every time, with the same characters and everything. So I kind of want to mix it up a little. So I've planned the next 7-8 books, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be interesting to write.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for this for now. I'm going to ask Emma Horton to join us, and then I'll talk a little bit with Emma, and then I'll talk to you both a little bit later on, Frode. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.